Right now, we have a tradition with all charter school students that started with the initial charter school law that essentially says that we will reimburse school districts for their local property tax portion that is allocated for that charter school student. In other words, in a sense, we have ensured that we are funding phantom students in the districts. You know, when we hear this talk about local replacement funding and expansion of charter schools, what we're really talking about is not the funding for charter schools, because a charter school student doesn't take any more money than a district student. What we're talking about is funding those slots from which the charter school students came from the district school and keeping that local replacement funding in those slots as if the students were still there. And some have called that funding phantom students. And the legislature, we're hoping, will stop that process. But we don't want to create a painful process for the districts in arriving at that point of losing that phantom student funding. Instead, we are phasing it out over 13 years, so they should be able to adjust to that way of operating. The real positive thing about this is that it stops taking money from the weighted pupil unit, where the money would otherwise have gone. And therefore, we're not punishing those districts that don't have charter school students leaving them. Many of the rural districts, for example, have no charter school students that have left those districts, and yet they are paying for this phantom student funding in the urban districts. And they tell us that's not fair. And I agree with that. It's not fair. And so we're going to be stopping that. And then the additional positive thing about this is that districts will no longer be getting a bonus for students who leave a district school to go to a charter school. That's what we have in place right now, is a bonus for every student who leaves. You get a bonus. So they will start thinking, I believe, in a more competitive fashion, because they will want to retain those students, and they will start thinking, what is it we need to do to ensure our students won't want to leave for a charter school? How can we do things better? This is an element of competition that we'll be introducing by phasing out that phantom student funding.